Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So recently I've got a few emails or messages from brothers who have owned Merck, which is basically a pharmaceutical company. They bought it recently and a while ago, and they are down quite a bit, and they just wanted to know my opinion about basically this company. And this company has been in my portfolio for a very long time, and recently I started buying more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you overall information about the company, then we'll look at the financials, then we'll look at the valuation side of things, and then I'll tell you my opinion. I will show you exactly how many shares of the company that I own and what I plan to do moving forward. And if you haven't liked the video already and subscribed to the channel, please do so. It really genuinely makes massive help or massive difference. And also, if you can join us the Patreon account, where you get access to a lot of things, including the subscriber portfolio review, which I have been talking about quite some time. I've got a lot of wonderful brothers and sisters who have shared their journey with me and what they're doing and their actual portfolios, and said, you know what, have a go and tell us what you think. And I've been honest, I've been quite transparent about basically what I think about those portfolios. And yeah, it's been really eye-opener for me, and I hope they gain something out of it, and I hope you can gain something out of it. On top of that, you got the family portfolios and all the other things that are normally shared, the deep dive into individual stocks. The watch list is a lot of things that I share regularly with the community. So yeah, join us if you can. So like I said, the company we're going to talk about today is Merck. Merck is one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies. In fact, I can show you that in a second. And if you look at this, basically the largest pharma companies in the world, if you look at the ranking, for example, Merck is right here below J&J, Novo, and basically Eli Lilly. So it's one of the biggest ones out there when it comes to basically the pharmaceutical companies out there. This is their quarter that they reported into Q1 of 2024. Just wanted to give you an idea of basically where their revenue comes from. The biggest one is the oncology, and the main drug that they have is Keytruda. Keytruda is one of the biggest one that they have in their portfolios, and I think it accounts for about 46% of the 2020 revenue. So that's about almost 30 billion in total revenue, basically, of the 64.2 billion that they had in 2024. Then they've got vaccines, then they've got hospital acute care, diabetes, and other drugs they have. So as you can see, this now, so just to kind of give you an idea where we are. Keytruda, with regards to Keytruda, the patent will be running out very soon. Okay, and I think it's in 2028 basically in the US. So what they're doing is they are, with regards to the EU, for example, is they're trying to extend it with them. So the basically EU, I think they're going to extend it to 2036. That's still in the pipeline. I was reading something on an article on their website recently. So they're trying to get basically an extension basically for the EU extension side of things, whereas the US probably will be running on 2028, which means other companies can also basically produce similar sort of drugs. It's not going to be the same, but it's similar sort of drugs, and they have the chance to do it if they wanted to. So that is basically a bit of a headwind for the company. But they do have other drugs that are coming up and that are right now in the pipeline, and some of them have already started. And yeah, we'll see how that develops in the next few years. As you can see, the vaccine side of things, they're doing well with that one. Basically quarterly was about 3.3 billion at that time. So that basically just wanted to give you an idea of where basically the type of drugs that they have. Again, I'm not an expert in any of these drugs. I don't know how well they're going to do, but based on the research, based on the websites, on their website, it looks like they have they've got plans for Keytruda. They have other vaccines that are in the pipeline. They've got ones that are doing really well that they've already developed. They also have the animal side of things. So there's a lot going on for the business. So it will be interesting to see how it moves from how it goes from now on. But overall, great company with regards to their product and so on. Very well diversified, and like I showed you here, one of the biggest when it comes to basically pharmaceutical companies in the world. So it will be interesting to see where the company ends up. Now let's talk about the financials, because that's the quite important part. So as you can see here right now, the company has a 203 billion market cap. 4% dividend yield. This is probably one of the highest that I've seen about this company. Safety wise for that dividend is 90%, which is quite nice. The payout ratio is also quite low, just only 40%, and they've increased it recently over 5%. The latest the 5-year growth rate is basically 7%, which is quite nice. The 10 years is about 6%. They have been growing it slowly, and then they've started increasing every single year for the last 13 years, which is nice. You get $3.24 for every share of this company that you own. And now looking at the valuation side of it, it looks like it's still undervalued. Even if you look at the 5 years, what you see here, that if this little line here, that basically green line, is below this line here, the blue line, then that means the stock is undervalued basically. So yeah, that's the first part. Now looking at the earnings per share for the company, it's been doing really well. Slight drop here, and then it bounced back again, so it is heading in the right direction. Free cash flow per share is also doing really good. Shares outstanding is declining, which is quite nice. I think they haven't. The 2025 is going to stay the same. Total sales also heading the right direction, which is quite nice to see. And that's what you want to see, is a stable basically, but going up here and there as much as they can. Return on equity is doing really well, 39%. Return on invested capital, 23%, and operating margin of 38%, and free cash flow margin of 27%. So this is a very healthy business. This is very well run business, and debt levels are very, very low. So overall, from this side, it looks good. Okay, now a couple of things that I'm going to check. First one is the earnings expectation is moving forward, so that we want to see where the company is heading. About 16% in 2025. 2026 we're expecting about 9%. Same goes for 2027. 2028 again, bit of a decline. 2029 bit of a decline, and then that's probably because of Keytruda. Okay, so we're expecting a bit of a growth and then a bit of a decline in the following years, and then it probably will bounce back by 2034. Again, anything can happen. Any of their drugs could easily change or something. Okay, revenues more or less the same. By the time we get to 2028, there's again a bit of a decline in the revenue, so that's something to do with Keytruda, I guess. Again, looking at profitability side of things, you can pause the video, have a look at it. I'm not going to read all of it to you, but gross profit margins, EBIT margins, EBITDA margins, and net income margins, as you can see, all of it absolutely amazing, and the 5 years are also really, really good. And now turning things into valuation side of things. So Refinitiv ratings is basically saying it's a buy right now, 24% upside from where we are. Tip rank, let's see what it says. Moderate buy, 9 buys, 7 holds, and 1 sell. And as you can see here, basically it's about 20%, 27% upside from where we are. And if we look at the Morningstar valuation, $111 per share is where they think the price should be. 4 stars right now, and we've seen it already. The company has a wide moat, and yeah, $80 per share is where it is right now. Now going back to Seeking Alpha, if we click Wall Street and basic analyst, you can see 12 strong buys, 3 buys, 10 holds, no sales whatsoever, 25% upside from where we are. $101 per share is where they think the price should be. Now let's use fast graph and have a look at basically a bit more about the company. If we click the summary and scroll down, as you can see here, it hasn't actually beaten the S&P 500, but this is not a company that I expected to be every single year the S&P 500. This is a sort of a portfolio stock, and what I mean by that is very stable. You get your dividend, and they have excellent free cash flow. They're not going to cut that basically dividend for quite some time, so you get new dividends, so you get price appreciation, and they basically, it's a stable company that's going to stay in your portfolio, so it stabilizes things for you. So you're not expecting, this is not Nvidia or Broadcom or anything like that. So that's basically, you need to get that out of your head and basically know what you're investing in. And as you can see here, this is basically the earnings growing every single year. The slight drop there, and then it can bounce back, and then for the next 3 years they're actually expecting it to grow nicely. So in 2025 16%, 2026 about 10%, and then 2027 is about 8%. After that is where we have a problem. Okay, now if we look at the forecast for this one and we look at the normal estimate, okay, this will be interesting, by the way. Check this out. So the fair value ratio for this is 15 multiples. Okay, so 10% when it comes to that, an adjusted operating earnings growth rate. And if we use that, okay, you will see here, you will be making, so your 10,000 will become in 2027, that is, by the way, Okay, you will double your money. 106% total basically rate of return. $20,618 is what you will have at the basically the end of 2027. Again, that's an estimate. Anything can happen. Things can easily change. I really like the fact that the company has the EPS yield, okay, earnings yield of over 10%, which is quite nice. Now, and also has blended PE of just literally less than 10. If we click normal, okay, it's actually the normal PE the company has been trading slightly lower, so it's almost about basically that 15, more or less the same, and you're still gonna make $20,332. So more or less the same. So this is probably one of the only companies where you will see the normal multiple and the estimates basically for this company are more or less the same. So yeah, it's really great company. I've enjoyed having in my portfolio for quite some time. I get those excellent dividend every single month, and I'm going to show you now how many shares of this company I have. So I've basically got right now 63 basically shares. I'm still buying through, basically right now. My plan was to get to 100 shares before it bounced back. But if you look at, for example, I think I started buying last 3 months when it was quite down. I think it was around 70 something or whatever it was. And then it basically bounced back again. So I left it alone for a bit. I'm just in the green. So just break even right now. But yeah, I'm going to hold on to this one, potentially add to it in the coming months. But yes, 63 shares. I want to get to 100 and leave it alone. I'm not going to touch it. Like I said, it's a sort of a portfolio stock, if you like. So it's got that steady eddy sort of a stock. Novo has not basically is another company that's in pharmaceutical company that's been down quite a bit for me anyway, and I've got 83 shares. I'm adding to it. And finally, just to go over all the pharmaceutical companies, again, all huge companies. This one I've got 40 shares, and right now this is my overall, but this one I'm not adding to. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not adding to. But Novo and Merck, both of them I will be adding to whenever I get an opportunity. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. If you haven't joined us at the Patreon account, please do so. It makes a huge help for the channel to carry on and doing what we're doing, inshallah, and help the community. And if you're enjoying it, please make sure you share it with your family and friends and everybody else. And yeah, let me know if you own Merck, and let me know if you have any other if you own any other pharmaceutical companies that are better than this one or whatever it is. Just let me know in the comment section, inshallah. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.